Thank you.
Th- Tell us then how you walked into, let's walk into Cure Pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
Started, I think it was 2011, I believe,
It
right?
was 2011. Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Um,
good story, actually.
yeah, walk us into how it all started and then kind
Yeah.
of up to where it's at today. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I love to tell that story because it's a great backstory to Cure, I think. We started in 2011, as you said. I had my team, my previous team, who's mostly still with me. We sold another company, a technology that was used in a chloroseptic brand, if you're familiar with chloroseptic. And then we were doing some consultant work, took some time off, and my family and I, we typically go on a mission trip every year to a
Nice.
different country, more like a medical health mission trip. And we'll work on clean drinking water or pharmaceutical, yeah,
Great.
healthcare centers, things like that.
Love
So
that. I love that. But can we love that? Love that. Can you, yeah, go ahead. And I bet that was great for your kids growing up.
it's amazing. Amazing. My kid, it's changed my kid's life. Absolutely. They both continue to volunteer and do things like that, which is amazing.
I think
So,
that's awesome. I think that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Thank you. So we were on a mission trip, and we were in Africa, and we were in I think we were in Zambia at the time, and came back from Zambia. We hit a couple of countries, but I think the last country was Zambia that we went into, and really noticed that there's a need for better medications, and really didn't think about it too much. Yeah, except that I hate the way the kids aren't getting the medications they need. More on the pediatric side was our focus. It always has been.
Okay.
And then I got back, and in the true story, about a week later, my chief scientific officer, who was not at the time my chief scientific officer, he's an ex-Amgen scientist, called me. And he said, "Hey, Rob, I have an idea. I just got back from Africa." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I just got back from Africa." I was in Uganda, and I was looking at malaria medication and how they treat patients right now, pediatric patients. They ship 2 big bottles of powder, which is logistically a pain in the neck, to clinics.
Okay.
And they tell these people to mix these 2 actives together in clean drinking water.
There's no clean drinking water.
Ding, 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 right? So my chief scientific officer said, yeah, Dr. Ed Maliski, and I give him a lot of credit for the founding of the company. He said, look, I think we can put malaria medication on a thin film. He goes, I know you did. My company at one time, Inozen, was the first company to put a drug active on a thin film.
I see.
We did that. We did it for chloroseptic. This was, in 2002. So we're talking about fast forward 9 years later.
Okay.
The technology was very limited at the time. So he came to me and said, look, I think we could put these malaria medications that are very unstable on a thin film, and kids can just take it. They don't need water, and it gets into their body. So I said, I don't think that's going to work. I think it's very difficult. The technology's not there yet. He goes, no, we'll develop the technology from scratch. We'll take your foundation, and we'll take and build on that foundation. And I was pretty much not convinced, to be honest. But to his credit, I mean, he would call me, I don't know, every other day saying, come on, let's do it. And we decided, okay, let's do it. We put some of our own money in and raised some money. Okay. And started from scratch. I mean, there was really no platform. So we started from scratch working in the lab.
All right.
We had to buy lab equipment and all that. And we started the lab. Then we were able to develop a platform technology out of it that advanced quite a bit. The first 4 years was formulation and feasibility work.
Okay.
And then scalability. You think about it, you can make something in a lab, but how do you make hundreds of thousands of units of that?
Right.
And there was really no equipment for our specific thin film or polymer systems that we utilize, not to get too much into the science. So we had to create it, and we had to co-design and develop and do all that. So it's been a long process, but about a year and a half ago, we started launching little pilot launches with manufacturing. Okay. And now this year we're fully integrated. We're an FDA registered facility. We're a Schedule 1 DEA licensed facility. For those of you in the cannabis world, understand how important that is for research and manufacturing, mainly on the pharmaceutical side. That's our focal point. But we can research quite a bit of different molecules, you name it. I mean, we could do all of the molecules that are Schedule 1 and look to see if there's any therapeutic benefits. Like the mushrooms, psilocybin and things like that. We can actually, be able to research and do clinical research studies on that if we wanted to. So that was a big, not hurdle. That was a great milestone for us to get a DEA Schedule 1 license. So right now we're actually in launch phase for several products, and we are also in IND phase for a specific product that's on our website, sildenafil, which is generic form of Viagra. Taking it as a thin film. Are you familiar with what the thin film is?
I was just about to ask you. Talk about that a little bit. Go ahead.
It's a unique delivery system. It's everyone knows thin film as maybe Listerine strips.
The little Listerine strips that you used to put on your tongue. Yep.
Right. Now those can't deliver medicine because they're not as advanced technologically. So we created a similar looking dose form, if you will, that allows you to put actives and stabilize actives in this thin film. And look, you can carry it around. You don't need drinking water. It's great for emergency medicine. Stable for 2 years. I mean, so you have good shelf life. And then think about logistics, going back to the story, shipping, right? I can ship that into, any country and get it into clinics where hospitals don't have to give it. The patient can do it at home and administrate it at home. So we're excited about that and developed it pretty far.
So the thin film, so the technology is the thin film, and then you're working to put all kinds of medications into it.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we use, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we use different polymer systems that not every thin film is built the same, if that makes sense. So we build the thin film based on the molecule we're delivering.
I see. And is this all protected and patented? I mean, can other people make thin film to put medication on? How are you?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are other thin film companies out there. We do have a pretty good point of difference is that we can load a lot of active in one thin film and multiple actives in a thin film. Our technology is patented. We have, I want to say 15 issued patents currently. And about 25 pending maybe. So quite a bit of a robust IP portfolio. And we constantly are building on that because you learn as you go, right? And you're able to develop better technology. There's new technology, new polymer systems coming out that we can integrate, encapsulation technologies. You go into nano encapsulation. So really the holy grail for thin film is being able to deliver vaccines, right? Using thin film rather than injectables.
I see.
We believe that is the holy grail if we can do that. That's not an easy task, however.
So, and how does this tie to the cannabis world, and what percentage of your thin films are cannabis versus other medications?
Great question. So on the cannabis side, we're heavily involved and focused on the endocannabinoid system from a scientific standpoint. And that doesn't only have to be cannabinoid molecules, but I would say at least 40% of our efforts in research, development, formulation work goes to the cannabinoid world. Really stabilizing those molecules, creating better bioavailability, which means absorption into the body. So if you take it, you won't need to take 1,000 milligrams. So you potentially could take a lot less and get better absorption into the blood. That's important. That's really important because Epidiolex, which is GW Pharma, did a CBD product that they got approved. First FDA approved cannabis drug, right? Plant-based cannabinoid, which is CBD. And it's a high dose that they have to take because the bioavailability is very low. So these kids are taking 1,000 milligrams a day. If we can help lower that dosing and excuse me, and increase the effectiveness, we think that's a huge benefit for the patient.
Wow. Now, in the beginning, were you thinking you were going to tie this to cannabis early on, or that just kind of happened later? You were like, no, we're creating this thin film technology to deliver medications, and then later on, you guys were like, wait a minute, let's make sure we jump on the cannabis thing too. Or how did that come in to play?
Yeah, So Interesting. 2010, 2011, 2010, I was looking at it before
Okay.
Cure,
Okay.
but in 2011 and 2012, we really started looking at a lot of the research from Israel on different cannabinoid molecules, the endocannabinoid system itself, which is fascinating,
Okay.
and the ability to modulate, immune system and other, inflammation. You think about lots of different things it can do. We were pretty excited about it, and we started looking at the molecules and realized they're difficult molecules to deliver. So if we could offer a better way, a better approach to stabilizing the molecule and
Hmm.
delivering it, we
Hmm.
felt that we would be, we could be the leader in that field for endocannabinoid delivery.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Okay. So you're
so
okay. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, I was going to say, so as we were working on that and thinking that, we had a collaboration with Los Angeles Children's Hospital,
Okay.
and my one of my friends, and she was a COO of Cure. Later on, I brought her on it as part of the team. She worked at Children's Hospital, and those collaborations, we started looking at cancer patients and parents allowing their kids to take cannabis during chemotherapy, and the effectiveness of the pain
Hmm.
relief and
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
anti-nauseousness, and actually some interesting results happening from a recovery standpoint. So it was very interesting, and that really put us to the next stage and say, okay, we got to get involved. Let's
Ah.
spend a lot of money and time on that. And we actually have a research and development, collaboration with Technion Institute out of Israel for
Okay.
cancer, and we're looking at that, and we finalized some animal studies. We're getting into human studies, hopefully within the next
Ah.
6 to 9 months. So.
Okay. Very good. So who is your who's paying you? Is it the drug companies or the cannabis companies? What's the business model
Yeah.
as it relates to who's paying you? Go ahead.
So we have several verticals. You can imagine a platform delivery technology lends itself to multiple verticals,
Right. Yes.
right?
Yep.
So I'll give you the quick outline on the verticals.
Okay.
We think it's great for pediatrics, so we have a pediatric vertical, or just kind of pharmaceutical vertical.
Okay.
We have which extends through pediatrics, geriatrics, hard to swallow pills, better delivery, pharmaceuticals. Then
That's
we have
huge.
the then we
Yeah.
have yeah, absolutely, and then we have the cannabis vertical itself, right? Because
Okay.
that's a different game. It's you have the wellness side with CBD from hemp.
Mhm.
You have
Mhm.
then you have the THC side. You have the 140 different cannabinoids in the plant that have potential therapeutic effect, which is why that's an exciting plant.
Yes.
So the cannabis vertical is itself. Each vertical, on the pharma vertical, we work with companies that want to deliver their actives more effectively. So they
Okay.
would pay us for formulations. They would pay us for milestones, helping them get through the regulatory process. They would also give us a license royalty back to use our technology once the product's
Ah,
developed. So we
I
have it
see.
several ways. We maintain exclusivity on manufacturing, and we also get a royalty for the use of that product, for our technology in their product.
But
Yeah.
but you're not a CPG company. Like you're not producing and packaging it and then sending it to them as a white label, or are you?
No, we can do that. Actually,
Okay. Okay.
we can do full manufacturing
Okay.
here.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
vertically integrated, so we can take something from feasibility all the way through to commercialization.
Awesome. All right. Very good. How big is the company
So,
now today? Well, go ahead. You were going to
no, I
say
was going to
something.
say, so to continue on the verticals, we had the pharma vertical, the cannabis vertical, and then
Okay.
a vertical is the wellness vertical, which is
I
just
see.
thinking delivering nutraceuticals, medical foods, things like that. That's a vertical as well. And then you have this vertical that I think is a company in its own. It would be the veterinarian vertical for dogs, cats. Delivering thin film, bacon flavored medication strips to dogs, or I don't know what cats like in flavors. So forgive me, maybe fish. I don't know, but putting the medicine in there, because it's hard to give pills to dogs if
I
try.
totally agree. Absolutely. I think
Yeah,
that's a huge opportunity right
yeah.
there.
So we like that vertical, and we're looking at that. We have patents in that area as well. Yeah,
Wow, so many opportunities then with these verticals. Okay, and so as of today, I know the company's publicly traded, right?
it is. It is. We're on
Okay,
the OTCQB. Yes.
Okay. And how big is the company then? How many employees? 15, 20, 30?
We're about, all in all with the consultants and regulatory, I'd say about 25.
20,
And
20.
yeah, so that's an important, I think, distinction too, with how we can manufacture and develop with not a lot of people,
Right.
because it's a highly scalable, small footprint approach.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to integrate sustainable measures within the manufacturing processes. So you'd be surprised, on a 27,000 square foot facility, we could manufacture quite a bit of product. And that's a beautiful thing, because you don't have that extreme overhead that pill manufacturers and other manufacturers have, and we love to transfer that cost savings over to the patients.
So many opportunities now, because it's a public company, and I can see the numbers online if you look it up.
Yeah.
So you're still, correct me if I'm wrong, but the company's still at a quote burn rate, right? Like
Yes.
you're still scaling the business, working on technology, working on launching some of these verticals, and so it is. You're still burning cash, but do you have any idea? Have you projected out like, okay, well, we think we're going to be in a positive net income by X year, or talk to me about that. I was looking at, I looked up the stuff
Yeah.
online. Like, okay, well, right now they're burning cash, living off investor, money, which they have to, which any typical situation like this would. But I'm just curious as to what's your vision. Like, do you have the whiteboard where, 2024,
Yeah,
you're gonna, okay.
Absolutely. No, we do. So it's funny, because we are a drug delivery company, right? Technology company. So we don't have to go through, like a new chemical entity spending hundreds of millions of dollars to get a product approved. We go through an abbreviated process called a 505(b)(2) process pathway.
Wow.
So it's an abbreviated approach to getting approved. You're basically just taking actives that are already approved. We know the safety profile, and we're putting them in a delivery system to make it more effective. So that's usually 24 to 36 months to get, all the way through the process.
Okay.
We're pretty excited. We have the sildenafil product that we're working on, that we're hoping in with the pandemic now, 2022, we launched that.
Okay.
We think we have very big expectations for that particular molecule. It's a thin film, generic form of Viagra in a thin film. That's a faster acting, more convenient, potentially less dosing needed too to get the effect. So we're pretty excited about that product. And then we just launched.
You can just go ahead and ship some of that to me right after we get off.
Yes, that's a common theme in conversation. So and then we have the wellness side and the CBD side that's really taken off. So we believe, within the next, we'll call it the 18 to 24 months, we'll be cash flow positive. So.
Okay, very good.
The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.